Hi, good night. Thank you so much for being part of this community and for being here trying to learn every day something different. So tonight I have the pleasure to have Sunil. Hi, Sunil. How you doing?
Hi, how are you, Leyla?
Fine, thank you. Sunil, will you care if you let everybody know how we met?
Sure. We actually met in a BNI group, which we both belong to. And I got to say, it's just been a pleasure in this short period of time knowing you. And hey, here I am.
Thank you so much.
And we have
I
actually
tell,
done videos together, which was
yeah,
cool.
yeah, we done video. We both like the video and content world. I always say to everyone that they need to go to BNI or they need to go some kind of networking
Absolutely.
because this is what happened. We create strong business connections.
Yep. Great
So
friendships. And yeah, the rest is history.
yeah, the rest history. So Sunil, like I was telling you the other day that in my community, the Latin community is growing on real estate because we came here to have the American dream. But now there is something that is everybody's talking about, and is to buy a multifamily and rent it, and get the tenants pay for your mortgage, and now you're gonna be rich. So, what are your thoughts about it?
I love that get rich scheme. Don't work. What you tend to find is a whole lot of headaches. Headaches with tenants, headaches with people breaking stuff, headaches with the busted pipes in the middle of the night. Obviously, the good side of it, like anything else, there's that property that generates income.
Yeah.
But there's always the possibility where people may not pay rent, and there's that eviction. And in today's world, that is a horror show. I actually manage properties as well, and some of my landlords, or my clients, I should say, it's hell in the courts today trying to evict. Something that we do, which I would love to share with this group and with individuals as a whole, with investors as a whole. A lot of people really don't know, and from our community, from the outsiders coming into this country, all we know is to work hard, save our money, and like anybody else, we want to buy a piece of
Yeah.
property. The big issue with that, or I should say the lack of knowledge with that, is what if there was a possibility where instead of you owning a two-family or five-family home, what if you owned a 100-unit apartment complex?
More headaches.
No,
No?
it's not, and I'll get into that in a minute. Absolutely not. And that's why I'm here. That's why my company's here, to take those headaches out of the equation.
Okay.
Uh, what if there was a way where you could make money, profits from these from real estate, and not pay taxes on all of that income legally? What if
Okay. Now
that
you got
was
my
possible?
attention.
And you know what? When we travel, and a typical place, Florida,
Mhm.
because that's where you see all these big multifamily properties, or even Georgia, Texas. You tend to see 100 units, 200 units, and have, whoops, that's my light here. Have anyone ever considered, and I'm just going to walk around while this comes on, but have anyone ever considered, could I ever own this type of property? Anyone ever gave that a thought? And I'm sure the answer is probably, you know what? I could never in this lifetime afford to buy one of those type properties. And that is so wrong because, we work hard, and I guess the education or lack of education does not allow us to dream that we could actually own this. And
Yeah.
what I do is I make that a reality. I actually own, and with my partners, we buy these 100, 200 unit properties. And the
But
way that's,
so let me ask you this. So you are talking that anybody that has the money to invest can be the owner of some kind of development, these beautiful developments that they have the gym and the barbecue and the grill area. So can I own that?
Absolutely.
without
And
have to buying the whole building by myself?
yep, yep. And that's where syndications come into play. Now, the way it's done, and this is really and truly what people don't know. The way it's done is you raise money, or I raise money with investors. So let's say I
Okay.
came to you, Leila, and I said, hey, do you have X number of dollars? This is the property we're looking to buy, which is, let's call it a 100 unit.
Mhm.
Obviously, legally being SEC compliant, I cannot come to you and say, hey, at least right now, I cannot come to you and say anything else but that. The way it typically works is we identify a property that we are going to buy. We
Okay.
basically do our inspections, we do our financial audits, making sure that the tenants who live in the property are the exact tenants on record, are the ones who are paying rent. We look at what's called a T12, a trailing 12, last 12 months of bank statements. That's one of the
Okay.
things. Where we tend to buy, nothing political, we buy in the red states, landlord friendly states, and basically it's easy to evict. We live here, I'm here in
Oh,
Jersey, you're here in Jersey. I will not touch one of these properties here because number one, price wise, I could never give my investors the return that I give them today. And secondly, do I want the headaches of trying to evict someone when that comes due, or if that comes about? So we tend to buy in the landlord friendly state. So once we
what
identify,
is what that means? Like, what is a landlord-friendly state?
or
Because
mhm.
what the logic tells me, it's if I own a property and my tenant doesn't want to pay, I have to go to court to evict them. What's the difference in those red states you're talking about?
In Jersey right now, and this recently happened, you will drag this out in court, or the courts will drag you out 10, 11
Hmm.
months easy. Places like Texas, if I need to evict someone, 24 hours, your stuff is out of the apartment is locked. Other states, 3 days, the apartment is locked. You're out. That's
Okay.
landlord friendly states.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
correct. So number one, we owe it to our tenants as well. And this is where we owe it to two different people. Without tenants, obviously, we have no business, correct? Without investors, we have no business. So
Yes.
it's a fine line where we need to, number one, protect our investors, because our investors are giving us money to invest, to buy these types of assets. And we're
Hmm.
talking millions and millions and multi-millions of dollars that
Of
we're buying.
course.
So we're not spending $500,000 on a something. We're talking, 20, $30 million per property. That's what I buy. Now, secondly, with these type of properties, like I said, our tenants are also our assets. So we want to make sure wherever we buy, we improve that asset to make our tenant happier to call this place where they live home. So some of the things we do would be renovations on the interior and exterior of the property, whether it's landscaping, whether it's painting the exterior of the building, whether it's putting dog parks or barbecue areas, or where kids could play. We just
Hmm.
bought something right now in Georgia, a 75 unit, where we actually put in a small soccer field to the back of the property. On the interior of the property, some of the things we do is basically, if there's rugs, carpets, we remove that, put laminated floors, you change the hardware. If you need to remove or replace appliances, you do so. If you need to upgrade kitchen cabinets, depending on condition, you do so. So
Okay,
it's a
so what I
win-win.
understand for this is that I'm investing, or I'm being part of a business that takes care of my money, of course, which is important to me, but also your business takes care of the tenants. So if they're happy, they're gonna pay rent on time, and in the worst case scenario, you are in a state that protect my money. That's it.
That's it, but it goes a lot deeper than just that.
Okay.
A lot deeper. So let's touch on that. But I want to go back one step before I move forward.
Mm,
When we identify a property, we everything that we buy must be a value add property. Must be something where, you know what, we are able to bump the rents. It's a part of progress where in, let's say, 4 or 5 years, we know that the value is really going to appreciate, because like anything else, we are flipping, except we are flipping on steroids. We're not flipping a two-family home, we are flipping a 100-unit home. And obviously it
mm,
takes a little bit of time to flip a 100-unit and at the same time raise rents as the leases expire. So once we identify a property, before I could come to you as an investor and say, hey, this is what I have, I need to run everything through my SEC attorney, because we are SEC compliant. We follow the Securities and Exchange
yeah.
Commission rules. Uh, the documents that I'll put out to you is called a PPM, Private Placement Memorandum. In that
Okay.
document, it's going to have what returns we are going to give to you. Everything is calculated monthly, but we pay dividends quarterly. So call it mailbox money. Every quarter, you're getting
Okay.
you're getting a check in the mail. Plus, when we sell the property, you get piece of the profits from that. So on average, you are getting somewhere between 16 and 20% average annualized return, which means we are doubling someone's money. Now,
Yeah.
I had also mentioned to you that what if you cannot pay taxes on all your profits, right?
Yeah. But I want to stay on the dividends. One second. Stay
You
there.
got
I
it. You
like
got
that.
it. Now that's quarterly dividends.
So those
So
dividends I'm going to start collecting after how many years?
day one, once we close on that,
Day one.
once we close on that property,
Wow.
keep in mind that property is cash flowing. The majority of properties that we buy are mismanaged. So income is here and expenses are all the way here. So we need to turn
Yeah.
things around. Obviously, that's going to take a little bit of time. Um, Typically, once we close on something, depending on what's needed, within 3 to 6 months is when you receive your first dividend check. And from that point moving forward, every quarter until we sell the property, there's money coming to you.
That's
So,
great.
so you get money throughout the life of us owning the property and upon sale of the property. And that's where we are able to double someone's money. Now, something that a lot of people have no clue about is the word cost segregation. I'm going to come back
Yes.
to that in 1 minute. And secondly, a lot of people may have a 401k or may have sold an asset, and there's something called a 1031 exchange.
Yes.
If monies are in a 1031 exchange, you could basically invest that money with us. So you continue to not legally not pay taxes. And we could go
Yeah,
into go
deferring taxes.
defer on it
But
that exactly.
wait a second. I am really interested in this part because my clients who are investors, they have money in this accrued account from a 1031 because they're doing 1031 exchange, but they only have 180 days to find a new property. I didn't know that, and this is super interesting for me,
Mhm.
that they can use that IRS code to go and to do this kind of investments that you do.
Yep.
So instead of
So,
find a house, they just have to find
but
you,
they have to
your company.
identify it. Plus, we need to make sure that we have something in place ready to close as well. So, it's a short window, so that timing may or may not work. So just want to clarify that as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a little dance that we need to do to make sure things play together here.
Wow.
Um,
Perfect, perfect.
Jumping back to the cost segregation. What happens here, it typically takes, and I'll dumb it down a little bit. It typically takes 27 and a half years to um, depreciate a property.
Hmm.
When we buy these assets, we depreciate it in year one and pass those depreciations off through a K1 to our investors. So what that means, let's make the assumption you were making $500,000 profit.
Okay.
Because we did our cost segregation, you're probably going to be paying taxes on maybe 250,000. How
Okay.
much more money did you just make? How much more money did you save? And the beautiful thing
Hmm.
here is you would be considered a LP, limited partner. All of our investors are limited partner, while we are the general partners.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
your money's being put to work where you do not need to worry about, shoots, this is broken, or I'm going to get a call in the middle of the night, or your money's just
Yeah.
working for you. And that's at the end of the day, that's what everyone wants. If your money's sitting in the bank, you're actually losing money. You got to put it to
Yes.
work for you.
Yes. So
So
Neil, I love the idea that yes, I don't have to get worried about all this tenant situation or managing a property. But I mean, for me, the part that just got me is the one that has to be with the taxes, because I'm deferring taxes. I can use the 1031 exchange. At the cost segregation, I'm saving a lot of money and still getting my money back without have to pay a crazy amount of
yep,
taxes.
there's one other thing that we didn't talk about. What if you had a 401k? Do you
Hmm.
know you are able to invest with us using your 401k? And obviously, we all know if you touch your 401k, you're taxed and you're penalized. Two
Yes.
negative effects that's going to happen. The
Yeah.
way the way it's done, you open a self-directed IRA. So your money goes from your 401k to your self-directed IRA into our account. When the profits and dividends come back to you, it comes back from us to your self-directed IRA to your 401. You're not taxed again.
So it's like I'm taking a loan on my 401k kind of situation,
To a degree, I guess you could call it that, but you
because
are
it's
putting the
coming
money to
back.
work for you, and
Hmm.
you're not taxed, you're not penalized. And
Oh wow.
I just want to also mention, whoever invests with us, it's not like you're giving me money in my account and shoots, did he go buy clothes?
Yeah,
Is he on a
no, of
vacation?
course.
Did he go buy a car? You,
I won't do that.
so this is the point that I want to make. Whoever invests with us, you are signing on our operating agreement. So that's where you are part owner of this specific asset. So you know exactly where your money is because you're
Yeah.
part owner of the property. Now you have no decision making capabilities. We do have monthly meetings where we tell our investors what's going on with the property. And let's say something bad were going on, we will let you know also what's happening and what we're doing to resolve any
Fix it.
conflicts or
Hmm.
issues. But
Oh,
like
that's
anything
great.
else, we let our investors know monthly because we do hold meetings where anyone can, number one, ask questions. And if anyone wanted to actually go visit the property, we welcome you to come take a look at it.
What if I want to rent an apartment to be a tenant in that
I will
property?
make sure I charge you double. You
That's
know what?
amazing. That's
I want to bring up something as you mentioned rent. One of my jobs is to manage my managers.
yeah.
We have property managers that manages these properties. So I'm not taking calls, toilet is broken, we got to fix that, we got to fix this. Obviously, when I buy these properties, I know what's broken. I know the shelf life of
Hmm.
what's playing out. So when I'm purchasing these properties, I'm walking the property with the property manager that I'm hiring or have hired
Okay.
or who have been managing our other properties. So we already have a business plan when we close from day one, what we are looking to do with the property. Obviously, we're going to be doing work on the exterior of the property. We're going to be doing work on the interior of the property. Now we have investors who have invested with us, so we're looking obviously to give the return that we promise our investors. We
Hmm.
also have tenants who live there. We can't obviously make money with no investors, no tenants, right?
No tenants.
So
Hmm.
it's a dance that we do.
Yeah.
However, we want to make sure, as far as our tenants are concerned, that they are living in a place where they would like to call us their home. So we do work when we close, we identify what needs to be done. Whatever exterior work we need to be done, whether it's landscaping or painting the building, we make sure we get that done. On the interior of the property, basically we would replace carpets if we have to. We will put laminated floors. We would change the hardware. We would
Hmm.
change any appliances that needs to be changed, or even kitchen cabinets, depending on condition, or maybe paint if necessary. So we want to improve the value of the property because
Yeah.
the minute we do that, the equity in that property just is drives up. So what we tend to do in year number two or year number three, we basically refinance the property. At that point in time, we have a ton of equity, refinance the property and give our investors back, if not all, a good chunk of their money, their investment money back. And they continue to receive quarterly dividend checks like day one when they signed our PPM documents. And when we sell the property, obviously they get piece of the profits. So think about it for 1 minute. Your
Yeah.
money is back in your pocket and you continue to make money and receive profits. What is wrong with that picture?
Can I reinvest in the same property, or do I
So
have to reinvest with you in a new one? Because
in,
I'm
in a
already
di-
thinking about reinvesting.
in a different property. Once your money comes back to you, no one puts money back into the same property because when we buy something, we basically look at a capex budget. The capex
Mhm.
budget lets us know. For instance, right now I'm under contract on a $14 million property in Texas. We have a capex budget of $2 million, which means
Mhm.
before I close on this property, I want to make sure I have that $2 million. So when I do close, I can start my renovations immediately. I can start moving forward immediately.
Okay. That's amazing. This is an amazing information. I know we had different conversations before about this, but I mean, thank you so much for explaining all these things. So, if someone wants to talk to you about the investments, it's okay. I mean, can I go talk to you to go and find more information, or I have to be ready to invest? I need $1 million right now just for you
No,
to
no,
answer
no.
my phone.
What happens is the minimum, and I'll answer that. The minimum investment from anyone to us is $50,000. That's the minimum investment. What we typically do, like for instance, the property we are looking to close on now, like I said, we raise money with investors. We have webinars where any and all potential investors, we bring them to the table on a Zoom call. So everyone have the ability to ask questions. So sometimes you may have a new investor who you really don't know how this plays out, and you may have in on that Zoom call investors who have done this before. So we make it a point to go through our documents as far as why we are buying this property, what we underwrite the property. So what assumptions, and this may not make too much sense, but what assumptions we have used in underwriting to come up with the figures that we are providing to you. And obviously anyone could question us. Couple of things that we look at is we always want to be within 1 hour of a major airport, number one. We want to make sure wherever we buy, there are multiple industry and multiple businesses, and these are big businesses. So, and the reason for that is, let's say we were to buy a property, and whatever industry was closed. Well, let's say it's one industry closed or filed bankruptcy or moved to another state, our business will suffer. It's going to tank, and then our investors are going to look at us as what is going on here.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that never happens. So there's always multiple business, multiple industry. we have a demographer also in our group where, we know where the part of progress is. We know where, for instance, businesses are coming in or the property is going to be improved. Like for instance, in Georgia, where we just closed, there are poultry, there are tractors, tractor manufacturers, huge medical center was a hospital was just built where they were employing I think 200 or 300 people. So these are businesses where a couple of hundred people are going to be employed where
Mm.
there's a demand for housing. And in addition to that, before we buy something, we need to make sure we could push the rents up. We don't want to be on a high end where no one else is paying that high end. So
Yeah.
we want to push that up. The one we just bought, for instance, we were able to bump the rents $400 per unit,
Wow.
which is a great,
Amazing.
great investment. And this is day
Wow.
one. So a lot of things, it's mismanaged properties that we buy and all value add property. We do not buy something to build. We make sure it's existing and we create in value. We have also a storage facility and we've been looking at senior housing, but we've been very successful right now with the value add properties with the multifamilies, and we do not touch commercial properties. So I just want to point that out because we have seen in COVID that changed the landscape of people working from homes, and you don't need to go to
Yeah.
the office anymore, and that office space, and that's still suffering right now. So
Yeah.
we don't touch that. So strictly
Wow.
residential, but on the more so commercial side.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all this information. I'm just sharing your phone number here.
Sure.
So anybody that tries to connect to you, they can call you or they can call me or make me questions. And if there's a lot of other things that we need to know, so we would like to invite you again and ask you those questions
Sure,
because
absolutely.
I want to introduce you to everybody so everybody knows that there's another way to do it. Because I
Yes,
have many clients that
absolutely.
says I don't want to deal with tenants, but how can I invest in real estate because it's really good in this country. So this is the way. We got it. We have you.
I'll share one other thing. If you, and this is for the investors out there, if you were to buy or flip, if you buying and flipping houses, and let's make the assumption you were doing one a month. So that's
Mm.
12 a year. That's a lot, number one. And in this current market, I don't think, or I don't see a lot of people doing that. So, but let's make the assumption you did one a month. That's 12 properties you bought in 1 year. What if you could buy one 50 unit, 100 unit, which is one transaction? You have scaled your business tremendously in a
Yes,
very short period of time rather than 1 year.
I like it. I love it. I truly love it. And when I called you, because maybe I'm gonna invest.
No problem. I'm here. And again,
Thank you so
we are
much.
SEC compliant.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much for
having me.
being here. And yeah, I'll be contacting you soon. And this, it was a pleasure, really. I really understood really a little bit more. As soon as you start talking about tax advantages or tax codes, like, okay, now I know what he's talking about. So that's my favorite part. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Take
So
care. Bye-bye.
see you in our next BNI meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.